Okay, good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of Vicky and Nitinjan, would like to welcome you all for the pre-summit virtual roadshow for Prarambh Startup India International Summit 2021 that will be happening on January 15th and 16th, 2021. I would like to thank all the speakers and attendees for joining us today. So before we start, to give a background what Prarambh is. So Prarambh marks the fifth anniversary of Startup India launched by Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi on January 16, 2016. The initiative not only brought a sharp focus on startups but also catalyzed the Indian startup ecosystem to provide innovation solutions for local and global needs. In last 5 years, India has become the fastest growing startup ecosystem in the world with the presence of over 30 unicorns, out of which 9 emerged in 2020 itself. So to start with, I would like to introduce you all to Mr. Ajay Mutreja, member of FICCI National Committee on Startups, who will be your moderator today. And over to you, Mr. Mutreja, for the welcome address.
Thank you very much, Nitin. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's my honor to welcome you all at this Russia Roadshow for Prarambh, Startup India International Summit. As already communicated by Nitin, Prarambh is is being organized to mark the fifth anniversary of Startup India initiative, which was started in 2016 by our Honorable Prime Minister. This roadshow, the prime purpose is to sensitize the startup ecosystem players from both Russia and India about this Prarambh summit that's going to be held on January 15th and 16th. And it's being organized by Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, Government of India. In this initiative, there is going to be huge impetus to startup ecosystem of your country and India. Today, India is the third largest startup ecosystem in the world, with startups contributing immensely to innovation-driven growth of Indian economy. India is already home to more than 30 plus unicorns, with 11 startups entering the unicorn club during this pandemic year of 2020. As you all know, Prarambh is focused on three words: connect, collaborate, and catalyze. And in line with what Honorable Prime Minister's vision of one startup in every district in India, and with cross-country partnerships, now we already have 40,884 startups recognized across 586 districts from 28 states of India and 8 union territories. Startup India has been very successful in igniting the minds of young innovators and entrepreneurs across the country. The current median age of our founder entrepreneurs lies at only 31 years. These startups also come from more than 48 industry sectors and services. The Indian startup ecosystem has been seeing substantial growth in not only the metro cities, but across the length and breadth of country, including 45% of those come from smaller cities, tier 2 and tier 3. And there are many very attractive startup policies of various state governments and union territories, which is helping them to scale up even homegrown startups in those states. In addition to creating a policy-led enabling ecosystem, we have also worked hard to create a market for our entrepreneurs. And FICCI has been very actively working in this space at the government e-marketplace portal. There are 4,000 plus startups which are already registered to offer their goods and services to government organizations and PSUs, and they do get special privileges in some cases. The COVID-19 pandemic has exponentially increased the importance of entrepreneurship and innovation. Entrepreneurship is an adaptive wildcard in the complex, emerging and uncertain post-COVID-19 world. How entrepreneurs seize new opportunities and take risks increases the range of options available to the world as it navigates through these precarious times. One of the greatest examples is that today India has become the world's second largest personal protection equipment manufacturer, with the industry worth Indian currency rupees 7,000 crores, of which being contributed by almost 1,000 manufacturers who produce literally 450,000 units of PPE every day. The smartest and the toughest will survive and come out stronger in the post COVID world. Many Indian startups have been able to modify and pivot their business plans and create business continuity models. And FICCI has been involved with many of them. Several startups have seen an opportunity to in, in reinvent themselves during this current times. Startups are developing innovative, low-cost solutions in response to the COVID-19 pandemic, right from sanitizers, tracing apps, low-cost ventilators, disinfection of masks, amongst many others. Many startups quickly adopted their operations to meet the current market demand. For example, one of the FICCI Millennium Alliance awardees, Saral Design, quickly switched from producing low-cost sanitary pads to making three-ply surgical masks with the help of India's one of the largest automotive giant, Mahindra Group. The tie-up with the Mahindra Group aimed at fast-tracking the production process for automating the manufacturing of three-ply surgical masks in a short period of time and help the healthcare workers and medical workers who were at least in the front line dealing with life-threatening and fast-spreading COVID-19 when India did not have enough of these PPE. FICCI, through its partnerships and programs like Millennium Alliance Initiative, is also enabling many Indian innovators like Saral Designs that I talked about to share their innovative solutions developed in India to help the COVID-19 pandemic in other geographies of the world, including in East Africa, in South Asia, etc. I encourage the startups of Russia to actively participate in this Prarambh summit being held virtually during January 15th and 16th, 2021. And please come and interact with all of us. And there is no better opportunity but to build up cross-country technology partnerships, cross-country business relationships and market relationships, and let the best minds of the global entrepreneurship ecosystem meet. Thank you very much. I would now like to invite Mr. Omkar Pandakame, co-founder of Bhighway Technology LLP, who's based in St. Petersburg, to share his few words. You have 10 minutes for your.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. And of course, what the Indian startup ecosystem has to offer, a plethora of attractive initiatives for Russian startup. I'd like to speak from a point of view of an Indo-Russian startup, if I would like to call myself that. And I, in fact, have a small little presentation, which I would be keen on sharing, which can aid me throughout. So this is a very interesting experience. Most of the times we've heard of Indo-American startups, Indo-Vietnamese startup, Middle Eastern startups, but this is the time when I am actually based out of St. Petersburg at the moment, but originally from Moscow. And this is what my experiences have been in running a startup which is based out of Russia and India at the same time. So a little bit about my background. My name is Omkar, and I'm the co-founder of Beehive Technologies. And I came to Russia about a couple of years ago in order to pursue my master's in organizational psychology, social psychology, with the Higher School of Economics, National Research University, which is one of the leading universities in Russia. And before that, I used to be a lecturer at an Indian and an American business school in the scope of design thinking. And this is how I got acquainted towards the Russian startup ecosystem, having my base in India. About a couple of years ago, I started with Beehive at a very idea stage. And while the idea was developing, I made my move to Russia. And over here, when I had a prima facie idea about how talented the information technology talent is in Russia, that just doubled up my enthusiasm and motivation towards having an Indo-Russia startup. A little bit about what my company does. We are a mobile and a web application where we use artificial intelligence to promote peer learning for organizations. The idea is to provide insights, analytics, and sociograms with a focus on increasing employee engagement and also reduce the knowledge management cost. We are heavily dependent on the machine learning algorithms what we have created, which is proprietary in nature, and we've been adding values to some top Indian corporations for the last few months. And now we are venturing it into the Russian market. Now, as of sharing experiences of mine towards fellow Russian startups, which are keen towards understanding and exploring the Indian markets, a very interesting ecosystem lies within India. My startup is a part of a leading accelerator in India called Zone Startups, which is based out of Mumbai. And we are also a part of Atal Incubation Center, which is one of the leading initiatives of the Indian government to fulfill the Prime Minister's dream of having one startup from every district about the Atal Incubation Center. In Russia itself, we are supported and promoted by some top accelerators such as HSC Incubator, which is the Russia's top three accelerators when it comes to providing technology acceleration services. Of course, with Dr. Shrotriya, there has been immense support from the Embassy of India based out of Moscow. And recently, we have soft landed in Skolkovo, which is one of the biggest technology hub when it comes to the Russian ecosystem. Now, if I want to talk about the Indian startup ecosystem, which I have been a part of for the last 5 years, there are only significant laurels what I can sing about it. If I want to describe the Indian startup ecosystem, I would describe it as an extremely mature startup ecosystem where there is support for everybody, right from an idea stage to an advance or a scale up stage, irrespective of geography. I believe that the Indian startup ecosystem with stakeholders such as Startup India or TIE or FICCI, these are institutions which are extremely welcoming towards the foreign startups to set up a base and explore business opportunities. Talking from a very cultural perspective of Indian business makers studying cultural organizational psychology, Indians are extremely welcoming, open to partnership, and believe in co-creation. So even if you find that there is an Indian competitor, there's a very good chance that he would turn into a collaborator specifically for the Russian startup. I think one of the biggest values what the Indian startup ecosystem provides to international startups is that we are majorly an English speaking one, which is one of the most underrated propositions what we offer. And at the same time, I believe that all the stakeholders in the Indian startup ecosystem, be it from the government or be it from the private space, were extremely prompt and responsive. With my experiences with the Indian incubators and accelerators, I have experienced hands-on approach, be it ability to connect to various leads or connect to vendors. So I'm highly grateful to the stakeholders in the Indian startup ecosystem to provide hands-on approach. And finally, being registered with the Indian government as well as one of the startups alongside Atal Incubation Center, we have received tremendous amount of support from the government, especially from the Department of Science and Technology. As compared to the Russian startup ecosystem, I believe it's as budding and proactive as the Indian startup ecosystem. One of my favorite things about the Russian startup ecosystem is that the technology talent in this country is top notch. So we have dedicated, industrious, and highly creative Russian programmers at our disposal. The universities, what I have been acquainted to in Russia, have shown high level of support when it comes to implementing new age ideas. And as compared to India, I think Russia as well has seeing sprouting of great startup incubators and accelerators around. So overall, in conclusion, I think that being a Indo-Russian startup, Beehive, it has only added a lot of value when it comes to recruiting the top tech talent from Russia and also the premium what we um, experience when it comes to the Indian business ecosystem and the Indian government support. So, in conclusion, I would encourage all my fellow Russian startups, which are based all across this beautiful country of Russia, to actively start looking at Indian markets, be it for collaborations, for business development, or vendor, or even to test your product or your service offerings into a completely new market, because one of the biggest and the rising markets in the world is, of course, India. thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to share my experiences about being an Indo-Russian startup.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Omkar, for sharing your experience. It is phenomenal what I just heard. I'm so happy you're taking the best of India and Russia, the talent, the support for implementation, and I wish you good luck and all the success. I'm sure many of the participants for today's program would benefit from your experience. Now, I'm honored to invite Ms.
You're muted.
I'm sorry.
Muted again.
It's my, can you hear me?
Yeah, now we can.
It's my honor to invite Dr. Maxim Kuchenko, Director of MIPT Innovation and Technology Center, to share the development of ecosystem of technology entrepreneurship around the universities. You can take approximately 12 to 15 minutes. Thank you.
Good afternoon, dear colleagues. My greetings to all who now watch the translation. And I have some slides about our ecosystem, how we see the implementation, the development of ecosystem of technological entrepreneurship in our university and in Russia. A few words about our university. Moscow Institute of Physics, one of the leading and the best technical universities in Russia and I think in the world. So we have many comments, many students who are looking forward for starting their startups, their internship project. So we must give them all our opportunities that we have in our university to improve their project, to improve themselves. So a few seconds before I start my presentation. Oh, I'm sorry. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Colleagues?
Perfect. It's come. Thank you.
Okay. So my topic today is development of an ecosystem of technological entrepreneurship around the university. First of all, I must show you our internship model of our university. So it's the model, the picture of our ecosystem, how we work, to whom we provide our activities and initiatives. So here you can see that university-based departments, faculties in our university, they are called FISTech schools, and our business incubator are only the small part of ecosystem. The main part, which we include in our activities, our graduates who started their startups. So we work with them as experts who provide the knowledge of how start the startups, how it gets better. Also, we work with R&D customers. So you can see in the bottom, ministries, foundation, different commercial companies. And also we have our spin-offs. Most of all, they are engineering centers. and small innovation enterprises that are started with university and students or young scientists, and they provide the technologies of our university to the market. So this is our model. This is our main activities and main actors that are involved in technological entrepreneurship at our university. A few words about our center. What is Innovation and Technological Center? Our center is like a hub. It's a center for combine all university scientific and technological potential for accelerated development of technological entrepreneurship in our city, in Moscow, in our university, and in Russia. So it's like the same as a business incubator of high school of economics, as the previous lecture said. So what are we doing? We have four key points, four main activities that we provide. So first of all, and the main part is our accelerators and pre-acceleration programs for early stage projects. So I must say that most of our participants of our incubator are students and young scientists. So they have only ideas or startup projects at early stage. So also we have educational programs both for teachers and students at universities, not only for our university. All our programs have technological entrepreneurships are free for all who participate in them, and we invite all students, all teachers, and other people from every university. So our programs are not only for our students or our scientists. So we invite all people who want to improve to start their project. The next part, as I said before, is the development of ecosystem. We combine the requests of the government, different universities, commercial companies, markets. We help to interact with startups to develop technology internship in Russia. So it's like in our mission. Our center sees it like improving the entrepreneurship in Russia, not only in our city or in our university. The second 2 points, they are a little bit new for us. It's expanding horizons. So we are going to start this year international relationships for exchange of experience and technology transfer. So we are going to bring the world's best projects for the development of local innovations. For example, we have our main acceleration program. It's called Fister Start. And this year, about September, we are going to make a special track for deep tech projects for English-speaking startups. So welcome to our program. We'll be glad to see you in our accelerator. So, but this activity is new for us. We are starting to work with Chinese accelerators and companies, and at the end of the previous year, we started to work with Finland universities and technoparks and different accelerators. So the last point of our four keys is the technology commercialization. So in our university, a lot of different centers, scientific centers and laboratories who invented a lot of different new innovations, products, technologies, and implementations of different technologies, aerospace, telecommunication, artificial intelligence, IT, and etc. So our main one of them our main goals this year is to improve our scheme, our model of commercialization of our technologies. Moving forward, as for technological entrepreneurship, we have two main groups of areas of work. So we work most of all for students and young scientists, the left part of the slide, and the second we work with corporate clients and government, etc. For students, last year we've made how is it said a full cycle of our programs. For example, if you have only the idea, you don't have business model, you don't have product, MVP, presentation, you go for the program which is called tunnel effect for the younger students who want to be entrepreneurs. If you have an idea and some business models, business plans, maybe MVP, you go for the program that is called Engineer 4.0 pre-acceleration programs. So if you have products, first sales, and you want to improve your startup, you go for our key program, our accelerator, FIS Tech Start. So such a full cycle helps us to work with startups on every stage, on the zero stage and on the later stages. And additional, we have some programs that helps us to give our students and scientists the competitions in internships. So we have different hackathons. We have an online course about technological entrepreneurship. So then different additional programs, innovation management, and etc. That help people to bring the new education, the new profession in their life. So if we are talking about cooperative clients, we must say that we can do for our clients and partners also scouting of different technological projects. We can do hackathons or corporate accelerators, and also technological transfer. And we are also organizing business events and strategic sessions. So these are our main areas of work, main programs. And so our university can work both with students and corporate clients. And only when you connect these two areas, this is the main success story of our university, because we are bringing a lot of people, a lot of founders of startups, and a lot of professionals in corporate sector to our student programs. And because for our students, the main that they can get from our programs, it is working with professionals, working with startup founders. So we bring them such an opportunity. So this is all for me about few slides. If you have any questions, so you can ask. I will, of course, answer to all, and welcome to our university. Here you can see my contacts and to talk about different initiatives between our university and Indian universities. Thank you.
Thank you very much for an excellent presentation made by you, Dr. Maxim. We will now, we'll have question and answer after the next presentation. I would now like to invite Diksha Nigam from Startup India to make a brief presentation of 10 minutes on the Prarambh Startup India International Summit. Please go ahead.
Thank you so much, sir. Hello, everyone. My name is Diksha, and I'm part of the Startup India team at Invest India. I would like to take you through a small presentation about Startup India initiative and our upcoming international summit. So, Startup India is a flagship initiative of the Government of India launched in January 2016 with the objective of supporting and promoting the startup ecosystem in the country. Since the launch of the initiative, several programs have been undertaken to contribute to the Honorable Prime Minister's vision of transforming India into a country of job creators instead of job seekers. As you can see on the screen, we have the third largest startup ecosystem in the world, with over 40,000 startups that have been recognized by the government. And interestingly, 45% of these startups come from the tier 2, tier 3 cities of the country. When we talk about startups being recognized by the government, it implies that these startups have a registered entity. They're not more than 10 years from the date of incorporation, less than 100 crores in terms of turnover, and are working towards innovation, improvement of existing products or processes, working towards creating employment or generating wealth. The recognition procedure is fairly simple. It's an online application process, which hardly takes 10 to 15 minutes to submit the details, which includes your founder details, in company incorporation certificate, IP details, website, etc. And within 24 to 48 hours, you either get your recognition certificate or a response on the documents or the details which are incomplete. Now, Prarambh as a noun implies an auspicious start and as a verb implies to begin. Aiming to bring India's entrepreneurial force onto the global map, the Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade is hosting Prarambh, the Startup India International Summit on January 15th and 16th, 2021. The two-day-long virtual summit will bring together over 200 marquee speakers from across 25 countries to facilitate discussions on innovation, emerging technologies, policies, initiatives, and enable government and international organizations to share their views, uh, and set on fire the minds of young Indian entrepreneurs, driving them to solve the problems and challenges that matter, not just for India, but for the entire world. The primary objective of the proposed international summit is to encourage and inspire youth towards innovation and entrepreneurship, exchange of knowledge and best practices, developing capacities of the entrepreneurial and startup ecosystem, mobilizing global and domestic capital for investments into startups, providing opportunities to startups for entering into both domestic and international markets, showcasing high quality, high technology, innovative technologies, and enabling ease of doing business for startups and investors. The summit is a select gathering of innovators, entrepreneurs, investors, regulators, industry and academic luminaries from India and across the world including the BIMSTEC member nations. Apart from deliberating on good practices from best of the ecosystems across the world, the sessions are designed to showcase the spread and depth of the entrepreneurship based on innovation in India. The idea is to attain attention of global capital for startups in India, mobilize domestic capital, provide opportunities of assessing international markets to our startups, and enabling policy provisions. It will also inspire and encourage our youth to be job creators instead of job seekers. The Honorable Commerce and Industries Minister shall be addressing the gathering of participants from India and across the world. And additionally, the session shall also include remarks from dignitaries and representatives from the BIMSTEC countries on improving international collaborations. The grand plenary will conclude the summit, and the session will comprise of reporting on the proceedings of the conclave. In addition to the international summit, I would also like to highlight two of the most important initiatives which the government has taken up. One of them being the State Startup Ranking Framework, which was launched in 2018 with the key objective of encouraging states and union territories to take proactive steps towards strengthening the startup ecosystem. The third edition of the State Ranking Framework was launched in December 2020, and it has made significant improvements in the categorization of states, the scoring methodology, the process of collection and evaluation of feedback, etc. As can be seen on the screen, the framework contains 7 broad reform areas with 26 action points focused on specific outcomes. Additionally, the DPIIT also launched National Startup Awards last year to recognize and reward the outstanding startups and the ecosystem enablers in the country. We have the National Startup Awards 2021 this year, inviting applications in 15 sectors and 49 subsectors, wherein startup winners in each of the subsector will be awarded with a cash prize of 5 lakhs, and the incubators and accelerators will be awarded with the cash prize of 15 lakhs. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Diksha. That was an excellent presentation and a very good summary of the entire Prarambh summit planned by Invest India, Startup India, as well as with DPIIT and FICCI. We will now move on to Q&A. I have received 3 questions. The first question is to Diksha, to you. Is the Prarambh event restricted to any specific sector?
No, sir. The Prarambh initiative is not sector focused, it's sector agnostic, so anyone can apply for it.
Thank you. The second question also to you. How do a company from Russia enroll to showcase themselves in this summit?
We have the registrations link. We can share that if possible in the chat.
Or Nitin will share it.
Yes, you put that in chat. I will share it with the registered participants.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
You share it now and then later on also publicize it.
Okay.
Dr. Shishir, I know you're going to be speaking on the India-Russia innovation collaborations after a while, but there's already a question for you. How, being an Indian startup, we can collaborate with Russian companies for technology? So this is to you, Dr. Shishir.
Yeah, so there are lots of collaborative models. First model is of co-innovation. In July last year, with FICCI itself and FASI on the Russian side, Foundation for Small and Medium Enterprise here in Russia, we had started a co-innovation program. People can go onto the web and see the website is still live, and that is called India-Russia innovate.org. It's a joint technology assessment and acceleration program, and that is for co-innovation, where you can find your partners in the respective domains of deep tech or any other technology domains, and come together from whatever TRL level your technologies are closer to the commercialization stage, and both Indian government and the Russian government will facilitate funds for that, for you to move ahead and commercialize these technologies through co-innovation. Besides that, we regularly have multiple programs where matchmaking is feasible. And here again, with this summit itself, aligning with this summit, in collaboration with TAI, we are having another virtual summit on the 25th and 26th of January, where matchmaking would be possible, and India and Russian companies can come together in respective domains and explore collaborative partnerships of markets, exploring the markets together, and also Indian and Russian companies can come together to see what value add can the partners on both sides can do, and this value added offering can further penetrate and explore the markets on both sides. Besides that, there are business forums which are promoted always, and tech companies and startups on both sides can participate in these promotional events. Skolkovo Foundation in Russia has a very interesting soft landing program which opens up every year, so people can see that also. Similarly, Startup India has multiple opportunities through web sessions and otherwise where they promote partnerships. Also, there are opportunities for participation by the startups and tech SMEs for the corporate programs. The corporates ask for solutions, and these are supported by some corporate accelerators like Generation S. They invite the global technology companies, the global startups, including India, to pitch for the solutions. And similarly, on the Indian side also, there are some corporate acceleration programs which are supported by Startup India. So these are all across multiple domains, and multiple opportunities are there, and we all support that throughout.
Thank you very much, Dr. Shishir. That was very useful. There are no more questions from the participants, so let me ask a question to Mr. Maxim. Are there any opportunities for India and Russia to work together on some very big challenges to make an impact, not just to billions, but maybe to much more than 1 billion population in India? For example, can we look at low bandwidth healthcare delivery in the most frugal manner to every Indian, to every person in Africa or in other less developed countries of the world? So this is a high technology area. Can we look at similar innovations, and can we look at partnership with your MIPT Innovation and Technology Center along with some of the Indian innovation centers?
Yes, I think we can discuss it and to try to work in this area. So because we have different, as I said, laboratories and technologicals that you can use, and maybe we can exchange some technological opportunities and to create the things that can beat this challenge. So I think we must connect with you later and discuss this opportunity and with more details, so that we can start to work in our university for this problem.
Thank you very much. I will now like to ask my last question to Dr. Omkar. If you had an opportunity to go to any other country and work with any other technology partner, would you have selected? I mean, can you list out some of the key success factors for you in Moscow and in Russia for what you have achieved in Beehive?
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Sorry, I'm yet to be a doctor, but yeah, en route somewhere there. But yeah, about my achievements in Moscow or in St. Petersburg, I think two major ones. It was very easy to find local business partners to represent my company over here in Russia. So talking about, because one of the, I wouldn't say challenges, but one of the learning curves, what one needs to learn about, say, the Russian market, is that the sales style in India or in the US, because my previous experience has been in the American markets, is significantly different. So the way you approach business with the Russians is slightly different than in different parts of the world. So getting local partners, local business partners, has been very. I wouldn't say that has been a challenge. And the second one is access to technology talent. So I think the same point by Dr. Kucherenko about Russia having one of the finer technology talents around the world. So that has been a major success. So a couple of my programmers, what we are scouting, are based out of Russia, and top tech talent, and people are eager to represent international businesses locally, especially in Russia and CIS countries. So these are the two great things what I could manage achieving, as compared to my previous experience in the American markets, which was a challenge recruiting tech talent and also finding local business partners.
Thank you very much, Omkar. Now, I am honored to invite Dr. Shishir Shrotriya, to Counselor of Science and Technology, Embassy of India in Moscow, to share his closing remarks on India-Russia innovation partnerships.
So thank you very much, Mr. Mutreja. We had wonderful sessions, wonderful presentations from all our speakers. And just to take forward the point which was mentioned by Omkar, he's found top tech talent here. One of the important aspect is because of the strong STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics base here in Russia, and the same is true for India. And because of this, both India and Russia have been improving their position in the Global Innovation Index year by year. And Russia stands at 42 in the 2020 list, and India is at 48. There are multiple areas, multiple regions. There is a science city called Novosibirsk, and Novosibirsk State Technical University promotes a lot of innovation. Similarly, in Tomsk region, there is a Tomsk State University. Around that, a lot of innovative companies have come together, and the science parks. So these are the strongholds besides Moscow, St. Petersburg, and Kazan. And similarly, the government in Russia and India both have been supporting building up this base, and a lot of money is being pumped in. The National Education Project of the Russian government has an outlay of more than 11 billion US dollars for 5 years, starting from 2019 to 2024. And that focuses on creating a pool of universities and training specialists in multiple areas of developing the science and economies related to that. So one important aspect of the Russian ecosystem I would like to mention is the corporate acceleration program. A lot of big corporates take the responsibility of innovation in not only the domains in which they are working, but in the frontier domains of emerging technologies. Just to give you an example, the Russian Railways is leading the program on quantum communications in Russia. So similarly, other corporates like Rosatom, Rosneft, Rusnano, they have taken responsibility to promote and capacity building, promote entrepreneurship, promote developing of the scientific base and innovation in the frontier emerging technologies. So this is very important thing to take from here. Skolkovo Foundation and some of the other accelerators like Generation S, which I mentioned, have undertaken very successful corporate acceleration programs in the past, and their results have been seen in less than 6 months. So if there's time, I could show some slide which is available. Can I share a slide?
Yes, sir.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Yeah. So this is a corporate acceleration experience of Skolkovo, which we highlighted in one of the India-Russia webinar on 11th December. So I'm just taking the slides from there and just showing that the acceleration program, you can see the timelines, how within few months itself, the handholding has been done in such a way that results have been seen. And there are multiple examples. This is the AstraZeneca example, where you can see the timeline from April to December itself, how the things have moved and what all stages have been achieved and how the acceleration has been done. So this is a very significant cue which we can take from the corporate acceleration program. There are lots of synergies which each one has talked about, all the speakers have talked about. The Expanding Horizon program of MIPT, which Mr. Maxim Kurchenko mentioned, has a lot of opportunity for Indian startups to participate and co-innovate. Also, the question which was put up by Mr. Mutreja to Mr. Maxim, and Mr. Maxim replied by saying that the laboratories and the infrastructure could be utilized to co-innovate and come to develop societal solutions for the world. That is a very significant aspect of co-innovation. One must note a very important point that STEM research and innovation and the input cost to research and innovation is low both in India and Russia compared to other parts of the world. And this is very important thing to note. And India has a very strong base where the world comes to India for innovation and developing technologies. We have technology centers from all the leading innovative companies of the world in India, and similarly, this collaboration, this synergy with Russia can take the emerging market space and developing the societal and innovative solutions together in times to come. So I'm very thankful to all the speakers, Fiki, Mr. Mutreja, Onkar, who shared his experience, and Diksha, who talked about the Prarambh program. This is a great opportunity which our Prime Minister launched in 2016, and we are commemorating the launch of that and building on that strength. I also thank Mr. Maxim for his participation, and thank you very much all the participants who are live now and who are going to be seeing this recorded roadshow are invited to participate in the forthcoming events and take forward this collaborative partnerships together. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, everyone. Look forward to meeting all of you on 15th of January. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.